So far, Luton have lost their first 2 Premier League matches. In the last game, it was a 3-0 away defeat against Chelsea. In today's video, I'm going to tell you guys 5 things which we've learned from that game. So here we go. Number 1. We still need a defender. I will keep banging that drum about needing a centre-back at the club. We've got 6 centre-backs at the club. 2 of them are currently injured in Osho and Dan Potts. One of them has just recently come back from injury, but ever since he's been a Luton Town player, he has always been injured, and that is Reece Burke. In my opinion, can be a Premier League defender if he can stay fit. And then you've got Tom Lockyer, you've got Amari Bell, and you've got Mans Anderson. Now, 6 centre-backs is normally quite good. 2 centre-backs per centre-back position on the pitch. We play with 3 centre-halves. You know, you don't normally need no more than 6. But in this situation, we kind of do. Because some of them can't stay fit. Dan Potts and Reece Burke. Obviously, Osho is injured, and he has had a few injuries since being at the club. Tom Lockyer in his first Luton Town season was injured quite frequently. Now, he has remained fit. And I still think Tom Lockyer is still learning to adapt to the pace of the game. Amari Bell played left back throughout his whole career. Moved into left side of centre back, last year. Played really well in that role. Is struggling with the step up at this moment in time. And then you've got Mans Anderson, who's gone from League One to Premier League. Now, granted, we have played the 2 hardest probably teams which we could have possibly faced in this Premier League so far, in Brighton and Chelsea, but the problems are still there for me. We still need to bring in another centre-half in. Ideally, a centre-half who's got a bit of power and a bit of pace about them. Now, I've already identified one target, which was Tanganga. It would be absolutely brilliant to bring someone like him to the club. I think he fits the bill. But if we don't, we need someone that's got a very similar playing style to Tanganga. Reece Burke, for me, is a Premier League defender if he can stay fit. He literally fits the bill. His power, his energy, the amount of headers he wins. I thought he done extremely well against Chelsea as well, especially after just recently coming back from an injury. But the problem with him, he just can't, keep being fit. That's the problem. And we have to look after him and we have to manage him correctly. So for those reasons, we need another defender in. The second thing which we did learn from the game against Chelsea is that Jacob Brown has yet again had an impact when he's come on the pitch. Now, Elijah Adebayo, for me, hasn't started the season off as well as he should have done, in my opinion. I think he needed to prove a point this season. Last year wasn't the best of seasons for Elijah. The year before was better for him. I think last year he was found out a little bit, and that's why Morris had a much better season than he did. But Elijah, I thought, now there's competition now within the team, I thought I would see Elijah step up a little bit more. So far, I haven't seen it. Look, and I do realise it's going to take a bit of time for our players to, step up to the Premier League. It's not going to be a quick turnaround. It could take 10, 15 games for the players to be ready and to be able to compete properly. And we are, competing above expectations already, It was a miracle that we managed to win promotion, and be where we are, being one of the lowest budget teams in the Championship. And we are literally the lowest budget team in the Premier League. So yes, I do understand, the barriers which we are facing. And I do understand the challenges which the players are facing as well. They are playing against the very best in the world. I do get that. However, Elijah, for me, hasn't done enough compared to the likes of Morris, who he's been partnered up with, and also the likes of Jacob Brown, who's come on and had an impact. I haven't seen that impact that Jacob Brown has done compared to Elijah. So I do want to see Jacob Brown start a Premier League match alongside Morris. Now, I've got a feeling that Jacob, he will play against Gillingham at home in the Cup. I'm expecting that to happen, but I would want him to start at home against West Ham. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's had a few chances. Now, I actually thought he should have scored against Chelsea, when he managed to get through on goal. It was a poor mistake at the back from Chelsea. And ideally, that shot should have been on target. And, even the commentator came out and said, those are the type of gifts which you need to be taking at this level. So, and then also the impact he had against Brighton as well, he also caused them a few problems with his pace and power. So I want to see Jacob Brown and Morris start in a Premier League game, and then if one of them two are having a poor game, then you could bring on the likes of Elijah, who will then, I think, will have more of a point to prove, and we, with fresher legs as well. Elijah's quite good when he's got a bit of freshness in him. So yeah, I would like to see Jacob Brown start a Premier League game, and yeah, that's what we've learned from that Chelsea game, is he does have an impact when he comes on the pitch. The third thing which we learned from the game against Chelsea is that Thomas Kaminsky is a very good goalkeeper. From what I've seen from the first 2 games, he's made some really good saves. He makes me confident that he can do a really good job. His handling has been extremely impressive. The game against Chelsea where Sterling hit this like a thunderbolt straight at him. That could have gone anywhere, but he managed to hold it and keep it together. So far, I've liked what I've seen, and I felt like he's managed to keep the score down when needed. Newcastle have just scored to make it 1-0 as well, as I'm watching the game while recording this video. Gordon with a nice one-on-one finish there. But as I was saying, Thomas Kaminsky probably would have saved that. But anyway, he's had a fantastic start to the season in my opinion. Yes, okay, he's let in 7 goals. Not all 7 have been his fault. And also, the saves he's made have also been extremely good. I think his kicking has been good as well. And as I've already said, his handling, his control of the box has been quite impressive as well. And especially in a new team, he's obviously got Krul, who's going to be, pushing for that #1 spot as well. So there is plenty of competition in the net. But yeah, so far, I'm really happy with what I've seen from Thomas Kaminsky. Number 4, we learnt from the game against Chelsea that Ryan Giles, his deliveries into the box from set pieces can cause us a few issues if he's not having a good day. Now, don't get me wrong, from what I saw from the Championship and what I saw so far in pre-season and the first 2 games, is he does have a very good delivery. However, the one thing that really frustrated me against Chelsea was it took to about the 88th minute in the game for a decent ball to go into the box. Now, the one thing which frustrates me as a fan when watching football, and it doesn't matter what level of football it is or who's doing it, I just can't stand players who can't beat the first man at a set piece. It really lets the team down because you work really hard to get a corner or get a foul in a dangerous position. All you're asking is a decent ball into the box and, hoping that we attack it really well. But what you can't attack really well is poor crosses into the box. And I felt Ryan Giles against Chelsea, his crossing was absolutely terrible. I don't understand if a player has had, his first couple have been awful. Why don't we switch it? Why don't we put someone else on it? And we had plenty of opportunities to. Ross Barkley, for example, he had an opportunity to just take some, corners. Chong as well. I appreciate maybe we had like a certain target from set pieces. I know they become really tactical now in the modern game where we maybe aim to go for the near post or something like that. But what I can't stand is, is a cross going in and it gets defended so easily because it hasn't beaten the first man. So that is my point on that. I just think if you're having a bad day, switch it, and I don't think we did. Well, we didn't do that against Chelsea. And the last thing which we learned against Chelsea is that Kapore is going to cause so many problems for a lot of teams this season. His pace is literally outstanding. He caused Chilwell so many problems, and I was really gutted to see him come off. I know at one point he did give the ball away in a very dangerous area, which, Chilwell should have actually shot, but instead he actually passed the ball. But apart from that, he is a very solid going forward. The one thing he does need to know and how to do correctly is his decision making. Instead of actually putting a ball into the box, for example, can you win the corner when there's not many players within the box? Is it right to shoot in that area? Just be a little bit smarter in those attacking positions. Man City gave him a new contract for a reason. You don't give out contracts for the sake of it. And I felt like he is someone with the right development, with the right learning, can honestly become a really good right back, especially in the Premier League. The power and pace that guy has got is just extremely scary. And we're going to cause a lot of teams problems down that hand side. Especially with Reece Burke being alongside him. Reece has got a bit of pace about him. And I think if he can stay fit, could be a really useful tool and something which Luton can really exploit down the right hand side. And hopefully our strikers can get on the end of some of the crosses. But he definitely caused a few problems. I would like to see him actually play a 90-minute game. But yeah, because he uses so much of his energy, maybe he has to come off after an hour or so. But I felt the wrong player came off against Chelsea, and that was Kapore. I felt Giles should have came off because he was absolutely awful in my opinion, and all 3 goals came down that left-hand side against Chelsea. So yeah, hopefully against West Ham, we can see a little bit more of Kapore, and also Alfie starting on the other side of the pitch as well instead of Giles, because Giles hasn't started the season off that well at all. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the video. Hopefully you did enjoy listening to my 5 things which we've learned from the game against Chelsea. Please drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Comment below your 5 things which you've learned from the game against Chelsea. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Don't forget to follow me across all my social media if you haven't done already. And I'll see you all in the next video.